Diddy. Both are giants, but their paths to power and influence could not have been more different. One is bold and aggressive, a man who makes his presence known immediately. The other is strategic, patient, and calculated, preferring to move behind the scenes, guiding the industry without attracting unnecessary attention. Their differences in approach have shaped the culture in ways many people may not even realize, and yet their conflicts, alliances, and decisions have left marks that are impossible to ignore. For over 2 decades, rumors and stories have swirled around these two figures. The feud, the competition, and the quiet battles behind closed doors were often passed around as gossip. But now, for the first time, we are able to see a more complete picture of how their rivalry, choices, and influence have shaped the music industry. This isn't just about personal disputes, it's about power, control, and how decisions at the top affect everyone below. When you look at these stories, it's clear that the industry is not purely about talent or creativity. It's about strategy, access, and influence. One example of this is the story of Nicki Minaj and Jay-Z. Years ago, Nicki worked to build a platform that Jay-Z eventually benefited from. She helped launch it from nothing into a successful project, contributing the work and effort necessary to make it thrive. Yet, according to reports, Jay-Z allegedly pocketed a large portion of the profits without giving proper credit or compensation. This is not just about money, it's about fairness, recognition, and the unseen power struggles in the music industry. It raises a critical question. How often are artists denied what they rightfully deserve because of the influence and control of someone higher up? This kind of suppression is not unique to Jay-Z. Many have compared it to situations involving Diddy. Diddy, another titan in the industry, has also been accused of forcing artists into contracts that benefit him more than them. When an artist does not align with the vision or the expectations of someone in power, they can be left without the opportunities they deserve. It is a recurring pattern in the music industry, one that exposes how much control and influence really matter in determining who rises and who struggles. Beyond the business side, personal conflicts have also played a major role in shaping these stories. The documentary reveals moments where personal grudges influenced major decisions. For instance, there was a time when Lil Wayne, a legendary figure in his own right, was reportedly excluded from performing at the Super Bowl because of personal disagreements. This example shows that decisions are not always based on talent or merit. Sometimes they are influenced by relationships, rivalries, and even resentment. Behind the glitz and glamour of the industry, there is a constant negotiation of power, and those who control access hold the keys to opportunity. The documentary also exposes how quickly these figures respond when their image or interests are threatened. One striking moment shows how, immediately after a particular scene was revealed, legal warnings were sent to prevent further exposure. The fact that these legal actions were taken highlights the lengths to which powerful figures will go to protect their image and control the narrative. In the industry, reputation is everything. Every move is calculated, every decision has consequences, and nothing is left to chance. It is easy to look at the music industry and think that success comes from talent alone, but the reality is far more complex. Album releases, promotional campaigns, and public appearances are often strategically planned to maximize impact. Even release dates are carefully chosen, with the intention of shaping outcomes rather than leaving them to chance. This kind of planning may seem like normal business practice, but it also reflects a system that protects those already in power. Those who already hold influence are given opportunities, while others must fight to be seen or heard. When we look at global success versus local success, a different picture emerges. An artist may dominate the charts in the United States, but struggle to make the same impact internationally. This contrast is important because it challenges the idea of who is truly successful. Visibility can often be created through promotion, financial backing, and strategic planning, rather than purely through talent. This means that sometimes what seems like popularity or success is actually a product of influence and control. The documentary encourages viewers to consider the difference between genuine connection with audiences and manufactured recognition. The Super Bowl incident illustrates this tension perfectly. Publicly, artists may show support or camaraderie, but behind closed doors, the reality can be very different. Decisions about who gets to perform on such major stages are influenced by relationships, power dynamics, and personal preferences. Acceptance and recognition are not always about talent or contribution. They are often dependent on the approval of those in positions of authority. This creates a complex landscape where ambition must navigate personal politics as well as industry structures. One of the most intriguing aspects of the documentary is the examination of leadership styles. Jay-Z and Diddy each represent very different approaches to influence. Diddy is known for his closeness and direct engagement with those around him. He builds loyal relationships with artists that feel like family, and his presence is often felt directly. He is known for his energy and intensity, and it is said that he inspires and pushes those around him, both to the better and worse. Through personal connection, mentorship, and involvement, Jay-Z, on the other hand, operates with distance, cultivating an air of mystery and exclusivity. His authority comes not from being directly involved in every situation, but from maintaining control through strategic oversight. Both methods are effective, but they create different kinds of influence. The contrast between these approaches raises a significant question. Does loyalty grow stronger through personal connection or through the power of status and mystery? These leadership styles also reflect their cultural roots. Hip-hop, at its core, is shaped by grassroots credibility and street-level influence. For someone like Diddy, maintaining close connections reinforces his authority within the community and ensures that his influence is felt directly. Jay-Z's approach demonstrates that distance and exclusivity can also command respect and control, particularly when managing large-scale operations. Both styles reveal that authority in hip-hop is not a simple matter of talent. It is a carefully cultivated balance of perception, strategy, and engagement. The documentary also touches on some of the darker allegations surrounding these figures. Stories have circulated about inappropriate behavior, and while some claims remain unverified, the repeated nature of these rumors suggests that they cannot be ignored. Allegations about underage relationships and personal misconduct have surfaced over the years. These accusations are serious, and they illustrate how even the most successful figures can be subject to scrutiny, controversy, and challenges that extend beyond music. For the public, it is difficult to separate the art from the artist when these stories persist. In addition, questions of family and personal responsibility come into play. Allegations about children, legal disputes, and claims of avoidance highlight how personal decisions can have public consequences. When a figure as prominent as Jay-Z is involved in controversies like these, the ripple effects extend to fans, collaborators, and the industry as a whole. It is a reminder that public figures operate under intense scrutiny, and every action, decision, and interaction can be magnified. The documentary doesn't just focus on individual disputes, it also examines broader patterns in the music industry. One key theme is the idea of control. Who decides which artists succeed, which songs become hits, and which moments are celebrated or ignored? This control is rarely based on pure talent. Instead, it is shaped by financial backing, strategic partnerships, and access to influential networks. Understanding this system helps explain why some artists rise quickly while others struggle, regardless of their skill or creativity. Through interviews and insider accounts, the film exposes how decisions that may seem random or purely competitive are often carefully orchestrated. From album releases to collaborations and award show appearances, the path to success is meticulously planned. Those at the top hold the power to shape narratives, craft public perception, and influence the trajectory of entire careers. It is a world where the line between opportunity and suppression is thin, and where the most subtle moves can determine who thrives and who is left behind. Cultural leadership is another central theme of the documentary. Both Jay-Z and Diddy have left indelible marks on hip-hop culture, but their approaches differ in meaningful ways. Diddy's hands-on engagement fosters community, builds loyalty, and emphasizes personal relationships. Jay-Z's distant and strategic approach creates authority through status, exclusivity, and careful management of perception. These differences show that influence is not one size fits all. Leadership can be rooted in personal connection, strategic control, or a combination of both. The contrast also highlights a broader question about success and recognition. If visibility and popularity can be shaped through financial power and strategic planning, then how do we define real achievement? Is success measured by the number of hits, the money earned, or the cultural influence left behind? The documentary challenges viewers to look beyond charts and headlines and consider the systems that shape outcomes. In doing so, it encourages a deeper understanding of the complex interplay between talent, influence, and power. Returning to the personal stories, the film examines conflicts and feuds that have played out over years. These conflicts are not just about ego or rivalry, they are also about control, access, and influence. When someone in a position of power makes a decision, it can ripple across the entire industry. The effects are felt by other artists, by fans, and by the culture itself. Understanding these dynamics helps to explain why some disputes become legendary, while others remain hidden until now. Legal battles, contractual disputes, and financial disagreements are recurring themes in the documentary. Demonstrate the high stakes involved in the music industry. They show that talent alone is not enough to ensure fairness or success. Instead, understanding the business, negotiating strategically, and maintaining influence are just as important. The documentary illustrates how these behind-the-scenes struggles shape the industry in ways that are often invisible to the public. Another aspect the documentary emphasizes is the importance of perception. Both Jay-Z and Diddy have cultivated public images that enhance their authority and influence. These images are carefully managed, whether through media appearances, music releases, or public statements. At the same time, the reality behind the scenes can be very different. The contrast between public persona and private action is a key theme, highlighting the complexity of leadership and influence in hip-hop. In exploring these themes, the documentary also addresses the broader issue of fairness. When one person controls access to opportunity, it can create an environment where talent is not the only determining factor. Artists must navigate a landscape where who you know, how you are perceived, and how much you are promoted can outweigh skill or creativity. This reality is not unique to hip-hop. It exists in many industries, but it is particularly visible in music because of the public nature of success. The film also takes a hard look at generational influence. Both Jay-Z and Diddy have shaped the careers of countless artists, mentors, and collaborators. Their choices affect not just their own fortunes, but the opportunities available to others. Understanding this influence helps explain why certain figures dominate the industry for decades. Leadership in this context is about more than personal success. It is about shaping the path for everyone who follows. Finally, the documentary encourages viewers to consider the broader lessons from these stories. Success is rarely just about talent or creativity. It is about strategy, access, and influence. Leadership can take many forms, whether through personal connection, strategic distance, or a combination of both. Understanding the dynamics of power in hip-hop provides a window into the forces that shape culture, careers, and opportunity. The story of Jay-Z and Diddy is not just about two men, it is about the systems that define the industry and the ways in which ambition, influence, and strategy intersect. In conclusion, the documentary provides a revealing look at some of the most powerful figures in music. It exposes conflicts, strategies, and personal stories that have long remained hidden. By examining the differences between Jay-Z and Diddy, we see how leadership, influence, and control operate at the highest levels. The lessons are clear. Talent matters, but influence shapes outcomes. Loyalty can be built through connection, but status and strategy also command authority. And behind every hit, every album, and every public moment, there is a complex web of decisions that determine who rises and who is left behind. Watching this documentary, it is impossible not to rethink how we define success in music. It is not just about the songs or the albums, it's about understanding the power, strategy, and influence that move the industry forward. Jay-Z and Diddy are examples of two very different paths to leadership, each effective in its own way. Their stories show that the music industry is a place of opportunity, competition, and strategy, where every decision counts, and where the unseen moves behind the scenes often matter as much as the ones we see in public. For fans, artists, and anyone interested in music, this documentary is a must-watch. It challenges assumptions, exposes hidden truths, and provides a deeper understanding of how influence and control shape the industry. The conflicts, strategies, and personal stories of Jay-Z and Diddy illustrate the realities of success, reminding us that in music, as in life, power and influence are often the ultimate determinants of who succeeds and who is left behind. Beyond the stories of feuds and business conflicts, the documentary also explores the cultural impact of both Jay-Z and Diddy. Their influence goes far beyond music. They have shaped fashion, media, and the ways artists approach entrepreneurship. Diddy, for instance, has always been very visible in his business ventures. He connects his music career with brands, clothing lines, and lifestyle projects. His approach is outward and direct. People see him, they hear him, and they feel his influence everywhere he goes. This style makes him a recognizable figure and allows him to create loyalty among his followers through personal connection. Fans feel like they are part of his journey because he makes himself accessible. Jay-Z, in contrast, is more strategic and subtle. He often operates behind the scenes, making moves that aren't immediately visible to the public. While Diddy builds influence through presence, Jay-Z builds it through planning. He chooses moments carefully, makes decisions that may take years to show results, and controls narratives with precision. His method of leadership may not be as flashy, but it has a long-lasting effect. This difference highlights a key point about leadership. Visibility does not always equal power. Sometimes the most effective influence is the one that moves quietly but decisively. The documentary also looks at the way both figures have handled collaborations. Diddy often creates partnerships that emphasize shared success. He brings people close to him and builds loyalty through collaboration. Jay-Z, meanwhile, is selective, working with people who align with his long-term vision. His partnerships are calculated, aimed at maximizing influence while maintaining control. These approaches reflect their personalities as well as their philosophies on leadership. One builds influence by fostering connections, while the other uses careful selection to ensure strategic advantage. Another interesting angle explored in the documentary is the global reach of their influence. In the US, their success is well known. They dominate charts, award shows, and cultural conversations. But internationally, their impact is nuanced. Jay-Z has carefully cultivated a global image that commands respect and admiration. Diddy's influence is visible in a variety of markets, especially through branding and media presence. The documentary shows that measuring success purely through local headlines does not capture the full picture. Real influence must be measured by reach, impact, and cultural presence across multiple arenas. The documentary doesn't shy away from discussing mistakes or controversial actions. Both